Okay, so this video we're going to talk about user interfaces. I'm going to create a new project here while I get this thing going, just so you can see where we're at, and you can follow along with this one if you want to. 10,000 projects. Yes, create it. Oops. Folder. All of these videos are starting out with me making new directories, and that is very exciting. But here we go. This is going to be user Unity 2018 UI, user interfaces. And our template is going to be 2D, no asset packages. This is going to be off, and we'll create the project. So what do I mean by user interface? That is how we can interact. We can put buttons, we can do sliders, we can have text boxes, any kind of way that we, just think of an application and how you want to interact with it. That's what the user interface is going to be. And so in this one, we're going to show you how to put buttons on your scene and how to link them up in code. We'll show you how to link them up in code just a little bit, and then there'll be a part 2 to this which shows you how to change different scenes. Okay, so the first part is we want to create some buttons. I'm going to change my background color, get rid of blue. There we go. And so we're going to create one button. That's all we're going to do. Put one button on the screen. So I'm going to right click UI, and we're going to go to button. All right, now this is just like how we added text before. We have to create or modify a few settings on the canvas in order for this to display properly for what I'm trying to do in this example. There's other reasons why you would not touch this stuff, but for what we're doing, we're going to change it. So under canvas, we go to properties, screen space camera is our render mode. We're going to drag our camera over here. And if this is going too fast, go and double check the text video that I did a little bit ago in the same series. UI scale mode is going to be scale with screen size. Now I have this button. I can place it wherever I want. And if I hit play, there's our button, and we can click on it all day long. Now nothing's going to happen because we haven't linked it up to anything yet. But that is our button. And if we expand our button properties, there is a text object of that. And that's where we can put some text, like say hello, something like that. And then now when we run it, of course, we're going to see the text change to say hello. And that is great. We can add as many buttons on this thing as we want. Also, we have panels, input fields for text, scroll bars, drop-down menus, sliders, toggle buttons, on-off radial type buttons, images, and text. So those are the different things that we can put in there. We're just going to work on buttons right now. So say hello. What I want to do is when I click this button, I want to put something in our little console down here that just says hello. And that'll give us the basics of how to hook up a button to some code. And then the next one after this, we'll work on some scene management stuff. But this is, for part 1, we're just going to do that. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we need to have a script, just like we had a script for our timer that we did a little bit ago in one of the earlier videos. So I'm going to create a C# script, and I'm just going to call it say hello. Oops, not yelling. And remember that script has to be attached to an object in the scene. So for right now, I'm going to click on the canvas, and I'm going to drag my say hello script over to that. Also remember that, and I'll double click on this, if it wouldn't let you add it just the way I did it, and I talk about it more in the text example, but with canvas selected here, I dragged the script over to this empty rectangle down here, this empty gray area, and it attached the say hello script. If you're getting some kind of an error, usually what that means this early on is that your file name has been renamed. And if you don't give it a name right away, you just kind of click around, it gives you a new behavior default name. And then if you come here and rename it, that's great. But you also have to rename your class. So remember always that this here has to match your file name. Say hello. Everything before the .cs. Don't use spaces in your file names either. That is a problem. So yes, once you have these names matching up, then you should be able to add it by just dragging it over there. I'm just going to delete these because we don't need them. And zoom in a little bit, and here we go. So this is our class that's going to handle our button press. And what we need to do is give a function that we can link up with the button press inside of the GUI. So the way we're going to do that is just say public. We can say hello button pressed. This is just the name of our function. Does need a return type, so we'll just say void because we're not going to do anything. And then all functions need to open and close parentheses like that. To print out to that console, we talked about it before. It's going to be a debug.log. Hello. And there we go. Oops. And that should be good. So the important part is that it's public. Void is also important because we're not going to ever really be able to process anything this thing returns. So public void, name of function, what do you want to have happen when you press that button? And if I save it and go back, now I'm going to expand my canvas and find my button and scroll down. I'm scrolling down over here on the right. And here's this onClick. So onClick, we give it a list of functions to call when somebody clicks that button. So I'm going to click the little plus sign down here, and it's going to ask us, where is the object where the script is? Well, it's on our canvas. One way to do this is I can drag the canvas from the left to here. So I could drag this canvas down to this area here. So if I do that, because that's where our script is. Remember, we got to drag the object, not the actual script down here, because this just says we can use it. It's attached to this object in our scene. And now we've got this linked up here. It says, what function do we want? And we find our class, say hello, and then we arrow over and look for our hello button pressed function. There it is. So now when we click, we're going to go to our canvas object, find our say hello class, and then call hello button pressed. And now if I hit run and click on this and click on my console tab, there it is. I click it again, we'll get more of them. So that's how we do it. Then we can get as crazy as we want to as far as putting code and stuff in here to handle different things, whether we want to show things or make a purchase or whatever it is that you want to do, donate button, whatever. That's where all your code will go inside of here. But this just shows you the basics of how to get it set up. Part 2 will be up in a second, and that will be about how to use buttons to change scenes.